Tonight, I would like to give a warm welcome to our parents, our family members, our faculty and staff, our distinguished guests, friends, and most importantly, our Goff Middle School's graduating class. My sincere thanks to our central administrative staff, Mr. Simons, Mrs. Wager, Mr. Stiles, and Ms. Cannon, for their continued support of our goals and mission to provide the best education possible to all of our students that we serve. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank our Board of Education. I know that Mrs. Skomersky is in the house tonight with a vested interest in this evening, and I know that I saw Mr. John also here. Real quick, it's just been my sincere privilege to spend the last 7 months with all of you. Tonight, just a reminder that it simply marks yet another milestone in your young lives. It is my hope that you enjoy this evening, but that you also take the time to express gratitude to those that have continuously supported you, your parents, your family members, your teachers, and your friends. Elevation Celebration is an exciting time, but I also want to assure all of you that there are so many more wonderful life events ahead. Because I have the microphone and you're corralled in this audience, I'm going to leave you with 3 quick reminders for tonight. And if you even remember one of them, it'll be helpful. First one, just be your best. You don't have to be the A student. You don't have to be the star athlete. You just got to keep trying to do your best as often as you possibly can. And if you do that, I'm sure it's going to lead to much more success than if you don't always try to give your best. Second reminder, don't sweat the small stuff. And almost everything is small stuff. Things get better. And last, but most importantly, something that I really want to remind you, just be kind. No matter what, just remember that there's no excuse for not being kind. Be kind to each other, be kind to strangers, be kind to others even when they might not deserve it. The world will be a better place if all of you follow that rule. In closing tonight, I am very fortunate to have the opportunity to serve all of you. I want you to know that each and every one of you will always be our kids. We will be watching, we'll be listening, and we'll be following your journeys from this day forward. So make us all proud. Enjoy tonight, and I appreciate all of you. At this time, I'd like to welcome our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Jeffrey Simons.
Thank you, Mr. McHugh. Right before this gathering this evening, Mr. Mike Buno, our Board of Education President, let me know that he was very apologetic that he wasn't able to attend this event this evening, but he wanted, on behalf of our Board of Education, to make sure that I extended the board's congratulations to all of the students who will be moving up from 8th grade into high school next year, and to thank all of the families who are here for continuing to support your children's education in the East Greenbush Central School District. The entire school district wishes to congratulate all of our middle school students gathered here tonight for the successful completion of their middle school years, and they will soon be transitioning to high school. I also wish to thank every single Goff faculty and staff member who are here tonight and those who were not able to be here tonight, along with your principal, Mr. McHugh, your assistant principals, Ms. Hoffman and Mr. Newman, for guiding and supporting these students to success during a remarkably challenging time. And I think to the faculty and the staff, the round of applause that you received when you walked in is a reflection that in the East Greenbush community, there is strong support for public education and for teachers, and I want you to recognize that you have the support in this room as well as the support throughout the entire community, and thank you for what you do to serve the kids. Each of the students we are honoring this evening began their middle school experience during a very difficult time, which was impacted by the pandemic. It is truly a remarkable accomplishment of these students and our entire community that these children leave our middle school with the skills, the attitudes, the understandings required to enter high school on a pathway filled with new opportunities, new friendships, but also greater responsibility. So, as Mr. McHugh did, I want to offer some advice to our students as they end this chapter in their education and open up a new book and a new chapter towards growth to adulthood. Your experience starting next year as freshmen at Columbia High School will be based on what you choose to make of it. You should get involved in your school beyond just attending your classes. Make new friendships, join a club, join a sports team. If you can't find a club that sparks your interest, you should talk to our high school principal, Mr. Harkin, about creating a new one that you might be interested in and some of your peers might join as well. Second piece of advice, stay socially connected to your fellow students and friends, and stay connected to the faculty and staff who are available to help you and support you during good times and in challenging times. Never isolate yourself from people who care about you and want to see you thrive. Being on this is fun. I like to use my phone. I like to communicate with others through my phone. I like to go on social media, and I'm certain that many of you do as well. But this is not social connection. I'm talking about the kind of connection where you are interacting with your friends, where you're having fun in person, where you're connecting with people and forming long-lasting bonds and relationships. Don't ever measure your worthiness based on the number of likes that your peers make to your posts or the number of friends or followers that you have on social media. You are worthy of success, you are deserving of friendship, and you are deserving of love just by being who you are. Choose to deepen your in-person connections and have true relationships, and take a pause from the phone and spend quality time with others, the people that make you feel good about yourself and great about your life's opportunities. And as you enter high school, find someone in the school, faculty, or staff that you feel a connection with. Every student in each one of our schools should have one trusted adult that they feel that they can go to talk to seek out advice, and to seek out support. We only need one. Find that trusted adult. Third piece of advice, your years in high school will go by quicker than you may think. Have your eyes, your mind, and your heart open to all of the possibilities that Columbia High School, or any high school that you are attending next year, has to offer. Find what makes you tick and pursue it with unbridled passion. I look forward to seeing you in just a couple of months at freshman orientation, and I wish all of you a safe and happy summer. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Simons. At this time, I'd like to call up Marion Conte for reflections, our Goff Student Council President.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Miriam Conte, and I am Goff Student Council President. I want to thank God for the opportunity and privilege to be here in front of you all today. To start off, I want to give a huge thank you to all of our principals, Mr. McHugh, Mr. Newman, and Mrs. Hoffman. They do a million things for us, and we don't even know. I want to thank all the teachers and staff that have helped all of us tremendously, even though sometimes our students are not the easiest to deal with. I also want to thank all the families here tonight that have done their best to be here every step of the way for their kids. Lastly, I want to thank and congratulate the class of 2027. Middle school was definitely not easy, but somehow we are all still here, so we must have done something right. Three years ago, we were halfway through fifth grade when on March 13th, we were told to go home because of the COVID outbreak. No one thought much of it, and we all believed we'd be back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned into 2 months, and then the school year is basically over. And then we started sixth grade, and it was a bigger hassle. Some of us excelled while others tried their best, managing everything else around them. Instead of asking your friends if they were excited for the school year, you'd be asking them if they were A or B day or even fully online. We missed out on class trips that year and activity nights, and getting to know the people that were actually in our grade. As time went on that year, both days were combined, and it felt like the first day of school all over again, as this was our first time seeing the other half of our class and all our friends. Next thing you know, we are seventh graders during our pandemic. We still had to wear our masks and get our temperature taken first thing every morning. Thankfully, later on in the year, it was officially decided that we could start taking off our masks. Now, fortunately and also unfortunately, that meant we got to see everyone's faces. And then it was eighth grade, a year where we finally got our normal middle school experience and do all the things that we missed out on in the previous years, like our class dance and wonderful field trips to DC. So, my message to the class of 2027 is, live in the now and do all you want and can in this very moment. You never know when something could be stripped away from you, as we have learned that with our experience from COVID. I know that sometimes it can be overwhelming with school, extracurriculars, and life itself. You may, whoa, sorry. You make the decisions that are going to impact you now and in 10 years. I want you all to look around and absorb the faces of your fellow students that you are going to continue with the next 4 years. These are going to be some of your closest friends or your number one ops. Whatever the case, remember all we've had to endure together and look forward to all we celebrate. To wrap up my speech, I'm gonna leave you all with this quote from iCarly. Live life, breathe air, I know somehow we're gonna get there. Thank you.
Great job, Miriam. I can honestly say that that young lady brightened everyone's day every day at Goff Middle School. You've represented your family and your class extremely well. At this time, a longstanding Goff tradition, it'll be the presentation of the class board, which will be hung in the hallways at Goff Middle School. We hope to get them arranged in the right chronological order over the summer this year. But the class board was designed by, I need to get these readers on, designed by Miriam Conte and Allison Hutton, and the board will be presented by Miriam Conte, Allison Hutton, Katrina Christakis, and Elizabeth Doust. Presentation of the board. Great job, students, great job. Our last speakers for this evening, before we get down to the important business, are a long-standing tradition where we always have a faculty member present and speak to our graduating 8th grade class. This year, We have a husband and wife team who have served the students of the East Greenville Central School District, and some of our family members and parents, sorry about that, Sandy and Sean, but it's reality. They probably had you in their class. So Mr. and Mrs. Sandy and Sean Kroll have served the district for 70 years combined. They've been teaching for 70 years, and they are retiring effective this evening. So with no further ado, Sandy and Sean.
Thank you, Mr. McHugh. Good evening, honored guests, family and friends, and good evening to the Goff Middle School graduating class of 2023.
Mr. Kroll and I want to congratulate you on your success. You have spent the past 3 years working hard to make it to this day, but do you know who else worked just as hard? The people sitting here in these stands who raised you. They have stood by you through all the joys and the heartbreak that middle school can bring. These people love you, and they need to hear the sound of you putting your hands together in appreciation for all of their hard work and sacrifice. Please join me recognizing with applause your great advocates, the parents, guardians, and providers who are here tonight to celebrate your achievements. And believe it or not, Mr. Kroll and I share something in common with you this evening. We too are graduating from Goff Middle School because we are retiring, but unlike you, it took us 35 years to finally make it out. That's each.
You know, to be completely honest, I am shocked they asked me back to give a speech at this ceremony. 7 years ago when I was here, I caused quite the controversy by leaving the room during the middle of my speech and coming back with a life-sized cardboard cutout of Spider-Man. I then angered my principal, Mr. Wayne Grignon, by placing the cutout right in front of him so no one in the audience could see him. Mr. McHugh made me promise him that I would not leave the room tonight to get any cardboard versions of Spider-Man. Mr. McHugh, I am a man of integrity, and I promise you there will be absolutely no cardboard cutouts of Spider-Man on the podium tonight. I would never break my word to you. So instead, I'm gonna go with Batman. Excuse me for a moment.
Oh, I really wish I had married someone who knew something about home repairs. Instead, I am stuck with a person who thinks fixing a toilet with a sledgehammer is a good idea. True story. But even though Mr. Kroll may have difficulty operating a screwdriver, he does know a lot about his superheroes. So here is what he wants you to know about Batman. Most people think of the Batman as a person who shuns the company of others. Batman is viewed as darkness personified, a lonely and sad individual whose rage over the murder of his parents compels him to fight a never-ending battle for justice.
If your experience of Batman is confined to the movies, you'd be correct with those assumptions. But those of you who read the Batman comics know differently. You understand that the darkness of Batman's soul is beautifully illuminated by the connections he has made with his adopted family. Obviously, there's Batman's greatest ally, Robin. Batman's adoption of the young Dick Grayson not only gives him a partner in his adventures, it also awakens in him all of the positive traits that one needs to be a parent. Batman's life is also made better by his friendship with Commissioner Gordon and his daughter Barbara. Lastly, his surrogate father, Alfred Pennyworth, gives Batman the wisdom, support, and love that he needs to keep him from despair. Batman's connections to other people enable him to thrive and prosper. He would be lost without them. And that's what we want to talk to you about tonight, the importance of being connected. And I'm not talking about being connected to the internet either. I am talking about being connected to people.
In this fast-paced world, it is easy to get lost in the world of social media. I think our phones have made us forget that the power of live, genuine, human connection is what really allows us to become better people. Spending the majority of your day doom scrolling on your phone robs you of the opportunity to create deep, meaningful relationships. Relationships that are not defined by emojis, random tweets, bizarre TikTok dances, and snaps that fade from existence a second after you see them. Do you want to make friendships that will last a lifetime? Do you want to get along better with the people who are currently in your life? If your answer is yes to those questions, then the solution is easy. Put down your phone.
Now, don't get me wrong. Social media is great. I am totally down with the TikTok and the Instagram. I even have me a Snapchat. Social media strengthens existing friendships and exposes us to a wider world, but it's not a substitute for face-to-face conversation. That is where real relationships are born. Putting down our phones and interacting with the people in our lives allows us to become better human beings.
The pandemic certainly has done a number on us. Not only did we suffer the loss of millions of people, but I think it laid bare the divisions that plague our country and our souls. The isolation we had to endure made many of us unable or unwilling to create those relationships. To put it simply, I think a lot of us have forgotten how to human. So connections are important, and don't spend hours on your phone. Great advice, I suppose, but how do you translate the importance of what we are talking about to the real world? What then are you, Goff graduating class of 2023, supposed to do after you have powered down?
Well, let's start with the most important people in your life right now, those who are raising you. Surrounding you right now are people who love you. How often do you take the time to tell your parents, your guardians, or your providers that you love them? How many of you have had a deep, meaningful conversation about how much they mean to you and how much you cherish and respect their sacrifice? I recently lost my mother, and I would give anything for the opportunity to tell her just one more time that I love her. So tonight, go home and tell your parents, your caregivers, your providers that you love them. Tell them why you love them. Turn it into a conversation that will define your relationship for the ages. Get over your teenage angst and do something you will always be thankful for. Don't wait until you're 30. Do it tonight. Trust me, you will never regret it.
And as for friendships, let me tell you this. Hold on to those positive friendships you have made. Don't let them slip away because of a stupid comment on social media or a ridiculous fight you may have on FaceTime. Keeping good people in your life is not easy. You have to work hard to maintain and nourish the connections you have made. And you may not want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Using a screen to do that hard work is going to result in a failed friendship. Now that you are not staring at a screen, look around. There are people around you who desperately need connection. You know how cruel schools can be. Sometimes we shun other people because of how they look, what they are wearing, or their reputation. How many times have you avoided a person you found to be interesting simply because you are afraid of what your other friends may say or think? That concept sounds almost too crazy to be true, but sadly, as a middle school teacher, I have seen it happen far too many times.
Let me ask you a simple question. How do you know that the person who sits alone on the bus or in the cafeteria or who is ignored because they have a reputation that they may or may not be true, how do you know that by not taking the risk to even talk to them, you may be missing the opportunity to make a connection with a person who will change your life? Let me tell you the answer to that question. You don't. So, taking that small positive risk to start up a conversation could lead to great things in your life. So, this is the part of the speech that Mrs. Kroll doesn't know about. She will either love me for this or kill me on stage right in front of you. If she chooses murder, at least I have some witnesses. Anyway, I stand before you tonight as a living example of how your life can be transformed because someone decides to take a risk and take a connection. I was not a particularly nice person growing up. Mr. Kroll was the person your parents warned you to stay away from. I was bad news in the flesh. But for some reason, in the winter of 1982, Mrs. Kroll met me and decided to take a chance on this bad boy from the mean streets of Watervliet. Her choosing to make a connection, to reach out despite my bad behavior, truly saved my life. To put it bluntly, I don't think I would be the keynote speaker at this elevation celebration if she hadn't made that decision. I don't know where I would be, but trust me when I tell you this, it wouldn't be anywhere good. Mrs. Kroll made me a better person. Flash forward to the summer of 2021. Trouble entered my life unexpectedly. As Karen Hesse says in her classic novel, Out of the Dust, the trouble climbed up my front steps, big as Texas, and I didn't see it coming, although it had been making its way straight for me all along. During that summer, I became very ill, and it also became very apparent very quickly that the illness was not physical, but mental. Now, I know the conventional thinking is, shh, don't talk about such things, Mr. Kroll. It'll make people think less of you. Well, that type of thinking is wrong. Mental health issues need to be talked about in the open. The stigma surrounding things such as depression and other disorders of the mind is ridiculous. If you or someone you know is suffering from a mental disorder, I have two things to say to you. Number one, find an adult to talk to and get help. You need connections. You need people to beat this disease. The second thing you need to know is this: things get better. They really do. I'm living proof of that. But I wouldn't have gotten better if it weren't for her. I felt like I was broken. Mrs. Kroll helped to put me back together again. The decision she made in '82 to reach out and talk to me, to engage me in conversation, saved my life twice. And that is why she is, and always will be, the love of my life. The connection who helped me be the person I am today. So, there you have it. Proof that the things we are saying tonight are true things. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled speech. Can you wrap it up?
I don't know what to say. Here's the speech that I have also secretly prepared, which is not real. All right, so at the end of the day, this is the real one. You said not to go off script. Mr. Kroll and I want you to be the Batman. No, don't put on tights and a mask and fight crime, although that would be cool. Make real life connections and surround yourself with positive people. Talk openly and honestly to the adults in your life, and every now and then, put down that phone and look around. There are people out there who may really need your help. Don't fail them by being a screenager. Trust us. If you do those things, your lives and the lives of those around you will be that much better.
Graduating class of 2023, Mrs. Kroll and I wish you peace and happiness. We wish you success and prosperity. But most of all, we wish for you the same type of happiness, love, and true connection to others enjoyed by the Batman. Make this happen, and you will be a greater superhero than any fictional character in a comic book. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Kroll, not just for tonight and your speech, but thank you for a combined 70 years of service to our students and our community. Thank you. Now, the moment that you've all been waiting for, the presentation of certificates by Mr. Newman and Mrs. Hoffman, and Mrs. Fye and Ms. Hosier will be helping us with that. Thank you.
Yeah, so they're just gonna, they got it. I know you guys got this. We got this.
Fatima Abuzaid,
Addison Agans,
Taylor Alex,
Annika Amundsen,
Tyler Anderson,
Makira Austin,
Kaylee Balls,
Eris Barber,
Megan Baumeister,
Dylan Beardsley,
Leah Beeks,
Matthew Bennett,
Cole Berglund,
Nicole Berry,
Amanda Bertrand,
Azan Bati,
Brian Bigness,
Amor Bishop,
Chase Bivens,
Edward Bizarro Jr.,
Jesse Blowers,
Lauren Boguski,
Kendall Bolin Smith,
William Ballum,
Emmeline Bombard,
Angelina Boniface,
Joseph Bove Stevens,
Namir Boyd,
Connor Bradley,
Casey Breen,
Landon Brem,
Evelyn Brooks,
Sean Buchan,
Abigail Bonacore,
Adam Burek,
Matthew Burek,
River Callie,
Delaney Campbell,
Carter Cantera,
Gianni Carbonaro,
Annabelle Carroll,
Christopher Carter,
Alex Cesares,
John Catone III,
Jasmina Tsutsunyanin,
Ryan Chen,
Andrew Cherubino,
Cameron Cherubino,
Katerina Christakis,
Daniel Cirincione,
Madeline Clark,
Haley Clasby,
Isabella Colon,
Jackson Collier Pendas,
Ariana Comstock,
Tyler Connolly,
Miriam Conte,
Eva Convertino,
Jackson Cooper,
Noah Cooper,
Brooke Couch,
Michael Craven,
Clark Kraus,
Carly Cusado,
Charlotte Cushman,
James Damiani,
Elizabeth Doust,
Nora Doust,
Maxwell Davis,
Regan Day,
Riley Diedrich,
Luca DeFeo,
Andrew Delgado,
Miguel Delgado,
Rocco DePace,
Thomas DeSev Jr.,
Robin Dewey,
Corinne DeBella,
DeAndre Dickey,
Danielle DeCant,
Timothy Donnelly,
Dylan Driscoll,
Cameron Eaton,
David Eisenman Jr.,
Evangeline Elliott,
Kylie Elliott.
Miles Andres.
Declan Irwell.
Nicholas Ferrara.
Nathan Fiacco.
Lucas Fredericks.
Temperance Freeman.
Liliana Gabrielle.
Agnes Garno.
Olivia Gavin.
Garrett George.
Arlo Gibson.
Matthew Gill III.
Theory Glean.
Lizery Gomez DePress.
Natalie Gonzalez.
Josue Gonzalez Zapata.
Sneha Gopinath.
Mattingly Gorski.
Aiden Graber.
Kyrie Graham.
Kira Greer.
Braden Griffin.
Zachary Grignon.
Daniel Guariglia.
Ved Gujarathi.
Kelvin Guo.
Hamza Hamdard.
Frederick Hamlin.
Brooke Haney.
Isabella Harris.
Samira Hashimi.
James Hatch Jr.
Kristen Hedgepeth.
Lily Hagener.
Dylan Heim.
Jasper Hoffman.
Kira Hubbard.
Allison Hutton.
Kyle Jacob.
Evelyn Jeffers.
Allison Johnstone.
Olivia Jones.
Colin Jordan.
Natalie Jordan.
Arav Joshi.
Stella Kirby.
Sage Keenholtz.
Jack Kelly.
Chase Kelly.
Riley Kelly.
Emma Ketzer.
Carson Kohler.
Riley Cott.
Amari Kraft.
Michael Karimsky.
Nolan Quinlog Boniface.
Nicole Lallier.
Story Lamb.
Carissa Laranjo.
Heath Laraway.
Camden Lashway.
Ash LaFave.
Megan Lever.
Bethany Lewis.
Marcelina Lacello.
Jasmine Lynn.
Eric Lindberg.
Hayden Lizotte.
Christopher Lochan.
Liliana Loisel.
Ignacio Lopez Gonzalez.
Kyle Lopez.
Kaylee Mackey.
Lila McGuffin.
Anthony Mancini.
Cameron Marbley.
Gianna Mara.
Maximus Mastriani.
Logan Maxwell.
Kahlo McCarthy.
Julian McClune.
Madeline McGowan.
Ryan McKenna.
Lucas McKinley.
Patricia Meek,
Baron Molino.
Jennifer Milius,
Tyler Memoli.
Eli Merritt,
Elliot Merritt.
Adelina Messier,
Malia Mestoik.
Ryan Miaski,
Alexis Mingle.
Emma Mitchell,
Seth Moore.
Gavin Moran,
Ashrith Morkonda.
Matthew Marsden,
Brady Mosier.
Logan Murray,
Ethan Narkowitz.
Dominic Notro,
Aiden Oates.
Braden O'Donnell,
Alex O'Grady.
Riley O'Kane,
Evan Olivan.
Liam O'Mara,
Quinn O'Neill.
James Otterbeck,
Elena Oxbrow.
Ella Paley,
Matthew Pallone.
Zachary Palmer Jr.,
Michaela Pennings.
Donovan Perez,
Hunter Perrins.
Trey Petagrasso,
Ariana Pinheiro.
Arya Pajoli,
Theodore Preston.
Tara Presbilek,
Andrew Puglisi.
William Putnam,
Abby Race.
Riley Radowitz,
Sienna Randall.
Ella Rapant,
Aiden Rappold.
Lucas Rauch,
Fozia Raza.
Ariella Reed,
David Ray.
Prey Ray,
Bailey Riley.
Caden Renaud,
Ethan Reza.
Shelby Rivers,
Zay Rivers.
Nahal Rodham,
Marari Rojas.
Ayana Rosario,
Eliana Rosbosm.
Amelia Riali,
Christina Salvatore.
Lisa Sanayarahi Kajalima,
Michael Sano.
Alexis Sawyer,
Kale Sawyer.
Savannah Shands,
Natalie Schmid.
Estella Siebert,
Mia Sense.
Jocelyn Schaefer,
Riley Sheehan.
Riley Sherwin,
Miyu Shiraishi.
Shadiptu Sikder,
Tristan Singh.
Thanzin Sint,
Tanner Skamersky.
Amber Smith,
Valentine Soler.
Claude Spanswick IV,
Domenica Spore.
Sai Nandish Sri Pambaduri,
Madison Stelling,
Jackson Stilson.
Robert Stone, Jr.,
Chase Studo.
Nickley Suanto,
Kyle Swart.
Landon Zepkowski,
Connor Taft.
Andrea Tagliento,
Natalie Tater.
Tyler Tenace,
Nathan Terry.
Mark Tobin,
Daniel Thompson.
Aiden Tulin,
Miles Tui.
Amber Travis,
Connor Tracy.
Matthew Tucker,
Harmony Trop.
Wyatt Timchin,
Logan Turchin.
Brooke Van Dyke,
Owen Valencius.
Janessa Vasquez,
Zach Van Vorst.
Adriana Ventura,
Anthony Vazana.
Dylan Vanaka,
Leah Vital.
Ariel Wakas,
Emily Wong.
Gianna Weiss,
Madeline Weekly.
Jordan Williams,
Ella Wessels.
Matthew Witherill,
Kalaje Winnie.
Amberly Witters,
Emma Witkowski.
Amelia Yoder,
Riley Wright. William Zoe.
One final round of applause for our Goff graduates. At this time, our faculty and staff will leave first. Thank you very much for everything you've done all year long for our students and over the last 3 years. Round of applause for our Goff faculty and staff. And this is my favorite part. As a dad of 4, I can't even get my own 4 kids to do this. Watch this. This is a cool trick. Our 8th graders, congratulations. And a big thank you to all of our parents and family members. Our students will be in the cafeteria. Thank you very much for all of your support.